the meeting now. Okay, so once again, last warning to everyone who just got here. Don't forget to sign in. Everyone online, please sign in. Last warning. If you don't do it, I will get you. Anyway, before we start, I like how you just stand up. That was really. I just wanted to have a couple. Wow. Okay. You see the height difference. Anyway. Before we start, to anyone who's also here because they saw the poster about the world building project launch, that announcement is going to be at the very end of the presentation, so stick around for that. It'll be delivered by Cassian, who will be your art director in the project, but you'll get to know about that later. Anyway. Oh, wait. Okay, we're gonna skip through the announcement because this was last quarter's announcements. Anyway, so one is, why do I need a portfolio? Your portfolio is literally your job application, okay? To get any kind of job in the visual arts, whether it be more specifically concept art, motion media, animation, graphic design, illustration, you're going to need to submit a portfolio. It is best practice to kind of have one forum where people can find the best selection of your work in order to get hired. It communicates your skills, your thinking process, and your interests, which are all very appealing to a recruiter. Studios and clients look for clarity, ideation, and storytelling in any portfolio. You want to kind of have a good balance of all three principles alongside of design problem-solving skills. At the end of the day, in concept art, your job is to solve problems via design, not just create pretty drawings. So it's really important that you're able to demonstrate these fundamental skills in a single portfolio. Yep. Okay. And so what is the difference between a good versus a bad portfolio? So the difference between a good and a bad portfolio is determined by these three things, which is 1, clarity, 2, simplicity, and 3, coherency. And what I mean by that is, if the recruiter doesn't know what job you want to go in when they open your portfolio, you need to improve your clarity on what job you actually want. And 2, simplicity is really important, especially in a visual development or a concept art portfolio. And the reason to why is because your portfolio piece, like the sheet that you have, all the breakdowns, the turnarounds, the texture callouts, the everything is already complex by itself. And so we actually advise you to keep your websites preferably more simpler side, just like a regular background, solid color background, just so your art can just speak for itself. Do you want to add to that? Yeah. I know it's incredibly tempting to go the Digicom route and go with your special colors, your special branding for your portfolio. But this early on in your career, your job should be just get that job. You can worry about adding the filigree, the ornamentation, that thing that makes it so you later on. You'll notice that a lot of the example portfolios that the school often show you are people who are already highly specialized and highly sought after for their work. But we're not those people yet, guys. So lock in. I'm going to add to that. I forgot what I'm going to add to that. Anyway, we're just going to go to coherency first until I remember what I was going to say. For coherency, no, it's in the same. For coherency, what we're talking about is sometimes when you open this, like what Javi said, when you open these big artist portfolios, sometimes you're like, oh, they're big, they're professional, and they're successful, I should copy their portfolio. But like what Javi said, they're already established. So literally they can do whatever they want and still get hired because people like them. And they already have the established network and connection for them to keep getting jobs, even though they haven't updated their portfolio for 10 years. So you should not look at the portfolio, actually. There are only a select few that are already professional and are really, really successful that keeps updating their portfolio. And so those are the ones that you should look at. We're going to give some examples. But for what coherency is also, it's really important that when you make your portfolio, that when the recruiter is scrolling down or going through it, they know which project is which. And so it's not like project A is just in one group and it's just project A and then it's project B and then project C. And it's not like project A is here and then suddenly it's B and suddenly it's A again and then it's C. And then it's A, and then so the recruiter is like, well, I can't see the connection between whatever is the elements inside each project. And these are some good portfolios that you can look into. Irie Pan is a goddess in SCAD Concept Art Club. We use them every time. Jimmy Chow is also really, really good. Javier Moreno, guys. Their portfolios are really good, so definitely check it out. And Lucia Lee is also very good. So if you guys want a portfolio examples, to look at, these 4 are really good for you to base your portfolio building from. I forgot about this. And so, a bad portfolio. What is a bad portfolio? If you're a concept artist, do not just upload your things as a folder in Google Drive. Don't do that. I like how you look. But I know some people who still do it, and please don't do it because first it's really hard, and sometimes Google Drive is really finicky, and so recruiters will like click on the link, and then it'll be like it just direct them to a random folder that you have in your Google Drive because you accidentally moved your folder somewhere, and so they will be looking at a completely different file, and then they're like, "Why are we looking at your like essay or something?" So don't do that. Don't put it in a PDF unless you're applying to an internship and they ask you to submit a PDF portfolio. But it's like really rare right now, and definitely, oh my God, don't do it in Word. If you do it in Word, I don't. What are you doing? Oh, please don't do that. So please, right now, practice the what's it called? The discipline of actually making a portfolio website, either to Adobe Portfolio, which we're recommending, or through ArtStation if you're a concept artist. Actually, if you go back to a couple of slides, the simplicity part. I'm going to add to the simplicity part because I actually remember what I was going to say. So, like what Javi mentioned, it's very easy for you to like, I want to brand myself. I don't make pretty things. I don't make a logo for every single page or something. The good thing about choosing Adobe Portfolio is that it is not that flexible. Like it will give you options and you can only stick to it. And so it kind of forces you to stay simple. If you use Wix or any other website creation, they're going to give you every single option in the world, and so you're going to be tempted to like customize literally everything. And it's going to make you're going to be easily tempted to just decorate everything, and your portfolio will be very, very cluttered. So that's why Adobe Portfolio is nice to like limit yourself. So this is an example of a very, very old portfolio I made in Digicom using Wix. This is why we don't like Wix. But this is some examples of what a portfolio is. One is a necessary spread that is filled with slideshow of artworks. Don't do that. Don't laugh at my website, please. I know it's cringy.
I was laughing at something else, don't worry.
Okay. But don't do that because you're not an established artist yet. So like, it's really unnecessary decor, and you don't need an introductory title because your artwork is going to have to do that talking for you. It's going to have to do that introduction for you. So whatever that you think can be said through your artwork, literally just erase those paragraphs.
You may notice in the bottom image that Pia has a collection of pages. It's this like bento box kind of format. You want to avoid giving your recruiter too many things to click on right off the bat. I know that a lot of times you kind of want to organize your work by project, but this is actually not recommended. If your recruiter only has 45 seconds to spend on your portfolio, why would you want to waste those 45 seconds having them click on stuff and waiting for more shit to load? Have all of your things in one page. I promise you it'll make your recruiter's life so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And if having everything on one page, they're just gonna have to like scroll through everything because if you have it in individual pages, they're gonna have to pick the projects that they're clicking, and sometimes they don't know which project is the strongest, and sometimes you don't know which project of yours are strongest. You might think like, oh, project A is my strongest, when in reality, objectively, maybe project C is stronger, which has happened to a lot of students here.
I will say the one caveat, or not caveat, what's the exception to the like itemized project rule is if you have work under NDA and all of your projects need to be individually password locked. Because typically on a project, not all of your stuff is going to become not NDA at the same time. So you might need to divide your client work, your full-time work under a certain page, and which would each have their own kind of password on them. So that's the one time you would want to divide that into your own separate professional page. You always want to separate your professional work from your just recreational concept work that you'd put in like your portfolio. So that would be the one exception to that where it's like fine.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Oh my God! Yeah. So, okay. To be fair, to give my younger self, that's like 2 years ago, a little bit more grace is because they literally make us make a website for like whatever. And so I came from a graphic design background, so I was like, I should have graphic design page in my portfolio. No, I should not. I want to be a concept artist. I want to be a visual development artist. So I just should delete graphic design from my portfolio. If I were to have an interest in like applying for graphic design jobs, I should have a separate portfolio for that. Or if I still want to keep it in one portfolio, then that page I should make it invisible. And so that way, when I apply for a graphic design job, I can apply with the graphic design page without it actually showing in my portfolio website. ignore that there's no artwork. I try to load it and it's like really, really weird. That's also one thing about Wix is they limit the amount of sizes and files that you can upload to your portfolio. And it's really, really not great. And they're also like not the most optimized thing ever. Whenever you load it, it's really slow to load. And sometimes recruiters get like, oh my God, it's not happening. And they just click out of your portfolio without any of your artworks loading.
If I can add one more tip about optimization, unless you need to preserve your image's transparent background, save your work as a JPEG. PNGs corrupt so much faster than JPEGs, and they also take up a lot more space than a JPEG does. So if you want your website to load super fast, I would definitely swap all your images to JPEGs. It takes a long time if you've already had your stuff uploaded, but it's definitely a worthwhile change. Like I said, time is precious, so if half the time a recruiter spends on your page is getting all your images to load, like that sucks, man.
Another thing is to definitely, when you're making your artwork, usually you make it as like a minimum like 2000 pixels, right? 2000 pixels at 300 dpi. Definitely still export that in its full quality. But for the sake of your portfolio, one thing that I did is also I just exported it as like 60% quality or something. So it's smaller, but it's like nice enough quality for the recruiters to actually see what's happening. But it loads really, really faster in your portfolio than me just uploading the 2000 pixels version.
Oh, why Adobe Portfolio? Oh my gosh. So if you don't know, you actually have access to the entirety of the Adobe suite while you're here at school for free. Well, it's not free, you're like paying for it, but
Tuition, but like
free with your tuition, kind of.
like you can't pay a part of tuition. You know?
But yeah, it's included with your SCAD Adobe subscription. Isn't that so awesome? Use your tuition money to its fullest. Like Pia said earlier, Adobe Portfolio is limited in a very good way. Like we mentioned, like Wix, Weebly, a lot of these other website creators, they kind of give you the full scope of editing your CSS and HTML code. But in Adobe Portfolio, it's intentionally limited, so you cannot go overboard with color, filigree, decoration, pop-ups, scrolling menus, slideshows. You don't want all of those distractions. It also adds to the speed it takes to load your site. So it's like, I think it's the perfect balance of customization with something that looks professional. I would say other alternatives that are also really good are ArtStation. ArtStation Pro is another good option. It's about $10 a month as opposed to Adobe's like $100 million billion a month. Squarespace is a great alternative. It's definitely a lot more expensive, I believe, for like a full plan. You have a lot more of those customization options if that's like really, really, really what you want. Like if you want to make your website purple and sparkly and it's animated, like go for it. Carbon Made is another good one as well. A lot of industry professionals use this one as well.
Yay. Oh, this is your part.
Yeah. Get a domain. This is like, I preach this. Okay. So when you sign up for Adobe Portfolio, or honestly any of those website makers, they'll always give you like, you know, your tag and then my portfolio or my Weebly, my Wix.com. But you can actually get your own website name for like dirt cheap. It's like $15 a year. And it's so much more easy to remember. It sets the tone for your brand. It's easier to fit on a business card. There's a lot of benefits to just getting your own domain. You can also eventually expand this domain into like a business email if you so choose. It's just entirely yours. You're not relying on the website engine to kind of be the address for you. A domain is the address that you type into your browser when you visit a site. Think like myscad.com. That is the address for myscad. It tells people where to find your house, but that's not the house itself. Sites like Hover, GoDaddy, Google Domains offer domains. They're super easy to set up. A lot of them will connect kind of automatically once you pair it to the website maker. I prefer Hover. I found the cheapest prices there. I think I pay $12 for the whole year for my site name. Definitely worth it. I'm also going to explain to you the difference between domain, website, and host site because they're three completely different things, and it's easy to get confused when you're shopping around for them. Your domain is the address. So think, again, myscad.com, google.com. Those are the addresses. The website is the content of the site. So think all of your images. It's the design of your site. And the hosting is where you would buy the address from. It's the server space where the website is built and lives. Oh, you want to do something?
Yes. Okay, so first step to using Adobe Portfolio is very, very easy. Just when you type in Adobe Portfolio, just log in into your Adobe account using your student email. Don't use your private email because I know for some of you, you probably have like a double subscription or something where it's like your private and then your school. But for most of us, we don't have that and you only have your school account. So just remember to log in with your school account and then pick an account which you prefer your portfolio to be under. And then step 2 is you must choose a theme. And me personally, I don't like this part because sometimes I want to drop down menu, but then this theme doesn't have it, but then that theme has it, and there's no way for you to figure out unless you like try every single theme. But that's gonna take a long time, so you're just gonna have to like this one and like pray for the best.
Go with your gut.
Exactly. And each theme again has its own separate feature that is different from other themes. But do not worry if you pick a theme and then you've decorated your whole portfolio with that theme, but then you're like, oh, I want to change to another theme. You can just click a different theme and then Adobe Portfolio will like reorganize everything for you. You need to reorganize things a little bit more, but none of your progress is going to be lost. And then step 3 is connect your Gmail or any preferred email in your Adobe Portfolio. This is especially for like your social media icons for whenever recruiters want to contact you. You need to connect that with a Gmail or an email that you're very, very active in, something that you check every day and something that you know you're not going to lose even after you graduate school. So that, yeah. Oh, okay. Navigation must have. So navigation is the thing in the top, like when you open your portfolio and then there's like home, contact, about, or stuff like that. These are the things, these are the pages in your website that you need to have. One is your portfolio, obviously. It's the one where it's just scrolling. So it's not a bunch of like different pages where, or projects that your recruiter needs to like click to like see your artwork. So this is your portfolio page. Your projects page, this is actually not a must-have. This like more of like if you have multiple projects and you want to be more compartmentalized, especially if you have a lot of artwork in their project, but you only know like, for example, you have 10 artworks after working on a project, but only 5 of it you feel like is like portfolio worthy. So you put the 5 in your portfolio scroll, but you put all 10 in your projects page. It's just like the whole view of the artworks. And then your sketchbook, this has mixed opinions, but for some people, especially I think if you want to go into the animation industry, people want to know that you have good foundational skills and that you can capture gesture really, really great, and that you actually go out into the world and like, explore and like study stuff and, yeah. And then
I would say in terms of the sketchbook, they definitely want to see more gesture as opposed to like anatomical, like super realism, unless you're like going into game maybe. Yeah. But I would say like for animation and things like visual development, you definitely want to lean more toward gesture drawing, life drawing that isn't just like one-to-one from life. They want to see how you're extrapolating observation into something that's like your own. This can also be substituted with just like a personal art page. I wouldn't rule out fan art. Fan art got me hired, so put as much fan art as you want. Put the things that interest you. They want to see what your interests are, and they want to see, what makes your drawing your drawing. So don't be afraid of like putting, your personal drawings in your portfolio. Just don't put it under like any kind of, this is my concept art. Like, no, it's not. But so yeah, definitely feel free to like substitute that out with a just personal art page.
I also want to say one thing. I don't know if you think the same way, but I would refrain on like extreme nudity or like extreme gore unless you're going for like a horror game or like a horror animation. Then you obviously put gore, but like yeah, you get
leave your
you have an instinct
out of the portfolio. I've actually run into a few people who do that. Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, imagine you're a recruiter, right? And you're like so brain dead. You're like looking through like 50 portfolios at this point, and then you click this one thing, and then you scroll, and then like big nude drawing, and you're like, oh my god! You're like, it's not a great experience. But anyway, don't forget, this is very, very important. Don't forget your contact page or your about page. Make sure, please make sure your email is in every single page of your portfolio, because that's ultimately where the recruiter will be contacting you to if they're interested in working with you or if they're interested in hiring you. So definitely put your email in there. LinkedIn is also very encouraged. It is still optional though, but definitely put your LinkedIn in there. Speaking of which, make a LinkedIn page today. Do that right now.
Yep. The sooner you start, the better.
Yes, because people are going to be like, you're going to look at LinkedIn and you're going to find out that there's a lot of stuff that you need to fill. So just chip away at it one day at a time.
I'd also say for your contact page, a good rule of thumb is like, if someone asks you in an interview, like, who are you? What would you say to them? So your name, your major, where you go to school, what you want to do, what you want to be, and like any past positions you have. And then you can maybe divulge into like your interests. Like mine, I'm pretty sure it's like, hi, I'm Javi. I go here. I do this. I've worked here, but I also like doing these things. It's short and sweet. It gets the idea of you across to someone who's reading your about page in a way that's not like 1,000 pages long. Like you don't need to write your whole life story on this. I'd say like, if it goes off the page, if you have to scroll down to read your stuff, don't do that. Like that's very annoying for people to have to read, and they probably just won't read it. So don't set yourself up for failure in that way either. Yeah.
What do you like recommend formatting? So you obviously have this other navigation stuff. Where would you recommend putting that if not in like the little bento box format? Because that's what I was told to do by my digicom professor.
Are you talking about like the specific projects?
Yeah, would you put it at like the top?
Yeah. Can I actually like escape this and
You
go?
can go to your.
I'm just gonna go to my site really quick if I can see the tab. Hello.
You can change the presentation in the Discord though, because they can't see outside of.
Oh shit! How do I do that? I don't know what to do.
Okay, hold on, guys. give me
Help.
Can you maybe repeat the question?
Oh yeah, so the question was, if you're not, for your main portfolio page, how do you get across different projects without going into that bento box format? And I'm gonna show you in a sec, we're just like resetting the screen. All right. Oh my God. Hold on, guys, I'm really trying. I'm actually not very technologically savvy at all. Oh my gosh. Okay. While you talk, hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about nothing while Pia sets up my computer because I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, there you go.
Oh wait, here we go. Okay, great. So here I have my visual development page. It's very clearly different projects, and that's notated by the footer. Not every page needs to have a footer. It should just have the title of the project and then your name on it, frankly. You can also add your email. I've gotten kind of out of habit with doing that, which is bad. Put your email on it, because imagine your art ends up somewhere on the internet, someone sees it, they like it, and now they don't know how to contact you. I'm special in this case because there's not that many Javiers, but what if your name is like John? You are screwed, so you need to put your full name and your email on it. So here I'm going to scroll through. You can see all of the related pages to this project have this footer on it. Yeah, this project sucks. And now I'm moving on to the next project. What do you notice? OMG, there's a header image and a new log line, and all of the work matches by the footer. So now a recruiter can easily see how all of this work is related, if not by the art itself, but by the branding or the icon on the bottom. Oh my gosh, look at that, a new header, a completely new project. So I haven't clicked on anything once. It's one big scroll, and you can see how all the projects are very clearly divided and different from one another, despite me not having to click into completely different pages. So this is honestly the best method, and it's honestly the preferred method of viewing different projects by recruiters. And I'd highly recommend, like, if you don't have this set up, set it up, because it's also super easy. It's easier to load. It will just make your life so much easier, I swear.
And this is what I mean by coherency before. So like it's like what Javi's project is like all compacted in one, and then it changes into a different project.
Yes. All right, back to the PowerPoint.
Okay, change it first.
Stop sharing. How do I share it again?
Hold on, guys.
Why don't we just share the whole screen? Like,
I can't. I need to like thingy, but sure.
Sure. Amazing. All right, we're back.
Yay!
Okay. So that's all of the must-haves. Also, a good way to do your resume, you can literally just type out your CV onto the page if you want. That's sometimes the best way, because also all of those keywords help, what is it? SEO, search engine optimization. If you have those like keywords in your portfolio, it also is more likely to pop up on Google if someone is searching for you. It's like if someone was to type Javi portfolio or Javi concept art, if I have concept art somewhere in my bio or somewhere in my typed out resume that's physically on the website page, it will probably be closer to the top of the results. So that's another great way to type in your resume. But another way is to just put it in a Google file, upload your PDF to Google, your Google Drive, and then make sure that link is always shareable. Like anyone who has this link can see it. So you can make a button. There's literally like a button option for every single theme on this site. Actually, most website makers will have a button. You just add your link, you say resume on the button, and boom, it's a resume button. It'll pop up. It's easy to save. You can export it, print it, whatever you want if it's already there in Google Drive. So, yeah.
That's it.
Yep. Sorry.
For your resumes, also, I think your DigiCom teacher should mention this, but keep it black and white if you can. Keep a black and white version because recruiters will want to print it out sometimes, and it's just easier to if you make a design where it's like black and white because they're gonna print out a resume in black and white. They're not gonna waste color ink on your resume, and because of that, try and make your resume a lighter background color or just white because if you make the background of your resume black, that's gonna waste their ink and they're gonna be like, oh my god, this person. But yeah, do that. And then if you make a resume button, there's also a way for when if people click the button, it immediately downloads your resume into the computer. There's also an option. It's easy. You can just search on Google how to make downloadable resume button and it'll like pop out.
The only reason I wouldn't do that is because people will think that you put a virus on their computer.
This is also very
So be careful with that.
Yes.
I honestly personally wouldn't recommend that because if I clicked on something and it downloaded something to my computer, I'd probably poop my pants.
So yeah, do
what you will.
do what you
Up to your personal discretion.
Yeah.
If you want to scare people, go for it. Oh yeah, we were kind of talking about this. Page versus a collection. So a collection is essentially a page that has even more pages in it. It's a page within a page. You'll usually use this collection for featuring specific projects. Like I mentioned, the best use of this is if you have multiple projects under different terms of NDA. You want to always have your professional work password locked until you have permission to share it. Each project that is in a collection will be a separate individual page once it's clicked on. Like I said, it's great for password protection and it's great for displaying your professional work. Don't do this with your personal or school projects. It's annoying to click on. I'm going to really try and drill that into people because I find that a lot of times people's portfolios just get completely skipped over because they click on one project, they don't see anything they like, and they'll just move on. If you have one scroll, you're subject to looking at everything. So don't do the bento box unless you have professional work to put in it. All right. Oh my gosh, how to maximize your Adobe portfolio. Establish easy to read branding. Your branding should honestly start as simplistic as possible. You don't want to confuse people. You want people to know your name and who you are, but you also don't want to go too overboard with the colors and the branding until you've established yourself first. You can make the effort to create thumbnails for your projects. It easily distinguishes different projects from one another. Making a logo for your projects is also super, super easy. Pia's like a boss at this. She does this with all of her projects, and I highly recommend you do it too if you're dividing them. Like I showed you in that single scroll, all of my projects had a different recognizable header that were all different from one another. Things to look out for.
One, make sure that people can copy paste your artwork because sometimes art directors will just like look at a work and then they're like, I like this one, and then they'll just copy paste and then put it like in some document that they have.
An email, probably.
Yeah, that's why it's also important for your artworks to have your name and then your email on it because then maybe they don't want to go back to your website to look for your contact information and they can just look at it in your artwork. And then disable right-clicking to save your work so that make sure people can copy and save, but not, wait, what did I, that is
Copy and paste.
copy and paste, not save your artwork. And then the other one is also make sure all links work, especially to your contacts, to your email for sure. And then because if they want to hire you, but they can't contact you because your links don't work, they can't hire you. And then they're like, okay, we're just going to drop this person. And then again, the last one is what we've been trying to like hammer into your heads this whole time. The less scroll or clicks a recruiter needs to do, the better. And make navigating your portfolio the easiest thing possible. They don't really have to think about it. And the average time recruiters spend your portfolio is 1 minute or even less. So really think about that when you're putting your artworks in your portfolio. And again, this is one advice that I also get all the time whenever I go to like career advisors or I ask my friends or I ask my professors, which is your portfolio is only as strong as your weakest work. So if you feel like an artwork is not updated enough to show your current skill, take it out. It's better to have just one project that's really strong than have like 5 or 3 projects and one of them is really outdated, but then so that people think, okay, they're not consistent and yada, yada, yada. I literally know one 3D artist who only has one project in their art station and they got an internship in Riot or something or Blizzard. So they only have one project. It's just one project and it's a sculpt of an armor. It's a really beautiful armor, to be fair. But they only have one and then they got hired. So that tells you everything you need to know. But yeah, okay. Oh, there you go.
Other pro tips. Go to portfolio reviews. A lot of times, SCAD's like what is it, 1220, 2112 or whatever? 1220, so stupid. But sign up, put your resumes in there because it makes it easier to apply to portfolio reviews as they come up. Usually you'll get an email from your department about it. They're actually pretty common at SCAD. You always want to make sure that you have your resume uploaded to that site because a lot of times you can't apply to things unless you have an approved resume. So make sure you upload your resume. It takes a little while, but usually advisors are pretty on top of getting them approved. Yeah, there's many resources from SCAD. CAS is another great place to ask around. Be like, hey, who's doing portfolio reviews right now? I need a professional, like, look at my work. They'll point you in the right direction. Attend Montgomery Hall portfolio sessions. They're at 10 a.m. every Friday. There's usually just like a bunch of advisors just chilling in the like lounge room on their little computers. You can just go like pop a squat in front of them and they'll be like, so what do you want to do? And then they'll direct you from there. Ask your peers about your portfolio. A lot of times, I would always take it with a grain of salt, but a lot of times people will tell you about like, oh, this is hard to navigate. Oh, you spelled this wrong, or this image looks weird next to this image. Like they'll tell you based on their perception of your site, maybe things that could change. I wouldn't take this like as Bible. But it's definitely worth getting other people's opinions. Ask your professors. A lot of the professors here are pros. They've been doing this for a very, very long time. You can sign up for their office hours. A lot of times they'll have like a link in their email. Email them and attend midterm conferences. Even if you're doing really well, sometimes it's actually nice to chat with them. I find that a lot of times chatting with your professors will have them reach out to you when they find opportunities that they think would suit you, but they only know what would suit you if they get to know you. So chat with your professors as often as you can. And also update your portfolio as often as you can. It's really hard while we're in school. I understand like we all have a ton of school projects and not every school project lends well to a portfolio project, but sometimes doing the schoolwork and doing the bare minimum is not enough. Sometimes you really need to go out of your way to shape up those projects, join other people's projects, do extracurriculars, take as many opportunities as you can. You really want to maximize your time here and maximize the relationships that you're building with your peers. That will definitely make you a stronger artist and that will 100% show in your portfolio. Oh my gosh, Q&A time. Yay, we made it to the end.
Okay, does anyone have any questions?
Let's go.
Okay, so, earlier you were talking about like portfolios and like if you would have like different interests, right? And place them in the other, as in other like websites. With ArtStation, don't they do something where like, they'll have like something that says like, oh, I did this project, and then they'll have like another thing that says like, completely other work that I do, or, like, for example, they have like architecture, but then they'll also have like, I don't know, game design stuff.
Yeah, so ArtStation is one of those project-based sites. Like the content that you see in the portfolio, it is that grid bento format where each project is based on the work that you put into it, right? So it's honestly up to you. It's at your discretion what you're uploading. I think grouping them by project is the smartest way to go about it, because if you're like, oh, I worked on this game, here's all the art I did from this game. But if you also happen to do some like level design or some sort of like narrative design more on like the gameplay side of things, you could also divide that into its own project, even though it's all for the same production, if that makes sense. So I worked on Overwatch 2. I designed this character, I did this artwork, I designed this asset. But I also did mechanics. I designed a cool mechanic on Overwatch 2, so I could put that in its own project, even though they're both under the same production. Is that what you mean? Or are you... Okay, cool. Okay, great. Amazing.
Yay! Anyone?
Any other?
We're gonna hand over the Q&A to our friend in a bit because we have to do
Oh, yeah.
interviews. So anyone here who's for the officer recruitment interviews is gonna be on the room next to you. So just wait for your turn. We'll call your name. But other than that, any questions before? Yes.
It's kind of feedback. It's like what if you have two very different areas of programs and like yeah, so that was questions for what's about to immediately happen. I'll answer that in a second. But we're doing a little switch up right now.
Okay.
So if you all need to run.
Okay.
Okay, continue interviews. So you can
Wonderful. Hi, I'm here now. So yeah,
first.
if you have two completely different like styles that you do,
The first thing to do is identify which one you would prioritize, right? That's what you want to have most accessible. I, for a while, had two very different styles, and I was getting hired for one more than the other, but I didn't want to do that one as much. So I just started slowly phasing that out of my portfolio. It's reasonable to have, like, here's my realism, here's my stylized page, but you want to overall have that first portfolio thing be all the best work no matter what it looks like, right? If you're, yeah.
Same. I have concept art, like I have concept art and I have like editorial.
Yeah, so the way that I organize mine is the first page you go to is the portfolio page, and that's just all of the work that I think is at the top of its belt right now. And then there are sub-pages at the top header for specifically categorizing that into concept art, illustration work, 3D work, so that if I'm applying to something and say you're specifically going for an editorial job here, you can just send them the editorial page first. And if they want to explore and navigate and see what else you do, that's up to them. But if you're just applying, yeah.
Page specifically for that.
Exactly, yeah. If you're applying to jobs that is part of what you do, but not all of what you do, you want to specialize what you send them to be what is most suited to them.
But that can be on the same website.
That can be on the same website, absolutely. But yeah, like as I said, I do both 2D work and 3D work. So I have that all accessible if you're on my homepage. But if I'm specifically looking for 3D stuff, I send them the specific 3D page and let them navigate from there. Yeah, of course. Any other questions about Adobe Portfolio? Can check in the chat as well. Yes, the slides will be accessible to, you'll have access to this whole recording and you can just pause it to get the slides. Anything else for the Adobe Portfolio, or we will move on to the next section? Wonderful. Okay, so we've been getting some questions about the upcoming world building project, which I am super excited to share with you all now. The official launch will be next Friday, but if you are here and you want to hear a little bit about it, we've been wanting to do something like this for a long time, and it's basically an opportunity for everyone here to make one really good portfolio piece that you can then put on your cool website. Essentially, because concept art scales across several different majors here, and sometimes it's hard for majors to interact and connect between each other, we're going to be hosting our own small little kind of extended contest like we normally do, except for it's not a competition. It's an opportunity for you all to work together to basically build an IP. Everyone who signs up will be assigned a specific prompt for an overall world that will be decided by a vote on what genre we're doing. And then you will get essentially just one additional project to do this quarter with a really nice long time frame to do the full concept art pipeline. You're going to give me silhouettes, you're going to give me sketches, you're going to give me color comps, and you're going to give me a fine. You're going to have a good, nice, consistent structure across it all, so that then once it's all finished, you will be able to use the template that I've given you to just put that work straight into a design sheet, put it on your website, and have all of that really professional looking content like we've seen on these websites already, and be able to go. This is especially good for people who, if you're a freshman or sophomore and you've maybe not gotten into your concept art classes yet, and you want to get a taste of what it's like, so when you're going in and the professor says, okay, give me 80 thumbnails, you know what that means. You know what kind of process that looks like. It's going to be pretty loose. You can take any style, anyone who wants to go into any sort of genre too. It doesn't have to be 2D, it can be 3D, it can be whatever you want. We're going to try to tailor it to everyone's specific interests. But really, we're trying to get people to collaborate and take critique. It's going to be really important that when you submit your art, you are able to take what we say needs to be changed and adapted before you're able to move on. But yeah, we have right here the interest form. This is not the official sign up, just to get an idea of how many people want to participate, and your opportunity to vote on which theme we are doing. The official launch will be next week, where I will have all of the details about what's being asked of you, what the full prompt is, and we'll be taking many more questions. But for now, if there's any final stuff to the people here and online. Yes.
Yeah, so you said that this would include like other members of other, like, is this like a, not just illustration, it's like a department wide, like.
Yeah, so our club is across multiple departments. We have people from illustration, animation, game, CEQA. We've got a bunch of people from film now, VFX. And each of those majors treats concept art a little bit differently. So what you'll see is a lot of animation students have portfolios that look very similar as far as like the layout, what they've done, which varies completely differently from what illustration students have, because the professors are just divided up differently. So this is an opportunity for people from both majors to come together and help each other work out with like solving those design issues, having people from animation explain, oh, we need more information here because this doesn't give me enough of an idea of how I would animate this, or illustration people being like, hey, this shape language isn't reading as well as it needs to fit in with this part of the prompt. Everyone is going to hopefully be really communicative and bringing together this really awesome group world. Good question, thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Would there be like certain aspects of it where you could like collaborate with other artists?
Yes, absolutely. Depending on how big it is, just how many people join up, we might have multiple people working on the same prompt or multiple people working on the same like sort of environment theme of like if there's 50 people who join and we decide that the prompt wants to be something sci-fi and suddenly we need to have like these different factions, we might literally divide the artists up into those factions to then work together to define what that means, what it visually looks like, and how it meshes with the other ones. Anything else? Do we have something online? Where do we find the interest form? I will post it to the Discord in a few moments. This sheet will also be posted to our Instagram and Discord today and tomorrow. If your resume has lines of color that match the color of your name at the top, is that too much? And should I just make a black line? Very interesting question. So for resumes, it's actually a good idea to have two separate resumes. And one is your incredibly boring black and white normal font resume, single column, and that is to submit to places that are big companies because they use robots to read all your stuff. And you don't want to confuse the robots. So you have to keep everything very organized and very 2D, basically. Your other resume can be the one that you hand out to people who are actual people and who you know are going to read it and you want to give them an impression of you. Professor Wimmer calls it your hand-to-hand resume. So it's a good idea to make two, if that works out. One-page resume, absolutely. There's no need for anyone at this point in their career to have a two-page resume. There is rarely any need for anyone high in their career to have a two-page resume. If you need that, just make the font smaller. Will the templates be available if you don't do the contest? We're going to be doing it no matter what. We have a good number of people who want to anyways, but yes, absolutely. We've had a couple of meetings about how to set up and format things, which you can also look at. I think those are on our YouTube channel. But yeah, we'll be making a template that basically, the idea is you'll be doing approximately 10 thumbnails or silhouettes, and there'll be a space to post that. You'll be doing 3 more refined versions, space for that. One like final hero pose or final environment sketch, and then your breakdowns. And so we're going to try to have something that is very easy for you to organize that and just kind of slot in the blanks, and then you can keep using that for your future projects. We've got one more person typing, but for that, anyone else in the room at the moment? We good? We're good, wonderful. But yeah, that's the vast majority of this. You mentioned IP. You mentioned IP earlier for the world building event, and the CV was mentioned earlier. You're not familiar with that. Oh yes, so IP is intellectual properties.
That is basically the domain of characters, worlds, and creations that is owned by a company. Like The Lion King is a Disney IP. And we're making our own copyright-free IP. And CV, I don't remember the actual acronym means, but it's basically like a resume. It's like circulum vitae, I believe, something Latin. But yeah, you'll see a lot of places will ask you to submit your resume or CV. It's pretty much the same thing with some formatting differences, and you're rarely going to have to do one over the other. All right, well, if that is all, thank you guys all so much for coming. If you're here for the interviews, stick around because you have to get interviewed. But I think that is all we have. I look forward to hopefully seeing you all next week when I can give you way more information. Make sure to fill in the interest form if you can. That'll be closing on Sunday, so that we don't get a stream of people trying to desperately set which genre it is. And have a wonderful day, everyone. Good luck with your quarter.